So today I have a huge book haul for you guys. Welcome back to my channel. I am Brenda and this is Reading by Myshelf. It's my birthday this month and I was gifted the opportunity to go on a shopping spree at Barnes & Noble. I was given 30 minutes to grab as many books as I could, and yeah, so I did that. I'm gonna go to the fiction section in a minute. How long has it been? It's only been 5 minutes. Let's do Synergy Moms. I mean, that is Tell me how much. So I'm going to show you obviously little clips of my shopping spree and I will talk about the books now. I will say I was pretty disappointed in the sci-fi section at this Barnes & Noble in Greenville, South Carolina. It was rather small and I was pretty shocked that it was a tiny selection. Anyway, I have, I think, 27 books, so we better get to it or we're gonna be here for a long time. I think I'll start with the fiction and horror thriller and let's just get into it. So the very first book that I have is A Wild Sheep Chase by Haruki Murakami. I have read at least one book by Haruki Murakami, The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles, and I read that many years ago. I think it was back in 2015. But I did really like his writing. It is a little bit weird at times, so this is about an advertising executive who receives a postcard from a friend and casually appropriates the image for an advertisement. What he doesn't realize is that included in the scene is a mutant sheep with a star on its back, and in using this photo, he has unwittingly captured the attention of a man who offers a menacing ultimatum: find the sheep or face dire consequences. And so Haruki Murakami's writing is always very surreal, and so I've heard good things about this book. I've heard this is a really great read from him, so I'm excited to get to this one eventually. Wild Sheep Chase. Then we have The Lioness by Chris Bahalayan. I don't know how to say his name. I'm so bad at this, pronouncing things. Takes place in Tanzania in 1964 when a Hollywood star and her new husband bring their friends and family to the Serengeti on a honeymoon safari. They envision giraffes gently eating leaves from the tall acacia trees, great swarms of wild wildebeest crossing the Mara River. What ultimately happens is a kidnapping gone wrong, their guides bleeding out in the dirt, and a team of Russian mercenaries herding their hostages into Land Rovers, guns to their heads. I've read a few of his books, and then he is an excellent writer. He writes fiction novels, sometimes historical fiction. There was one that I read by him that had to do with the Salem witch trials. I'll see if I can find the name of that and put it up here. But The Lioness. Next I have Kristin Hannah, Magic Hour. So Kristin Hannah is a historical fiction writer, and this one takes place in the Pacific Northwest in the Olympic National Forest. From deep within this old growth forest, a 6-year-old girl appears, speechless and alone. She offers no clue as to her identity and no hint of her past. There is a child psychiatrist who is determined to free this extraordinary little girl from a prison of unimaginable fear and isolation. I love Kristin Hannah's writing. I read The Nightingale by her, and it was one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm excited to see what she has to offer here. Fun fact, I actually lived in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest for 3 years, and it is a beautiful, beautiful setting with the mountains and the forests. So I'm excited to get to this one. Next, I have A Tale of Two Worlds by Michael Faber. I've read a book, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it right now, by Michael Faber many years ago, and his writing is spectacular. So this one starts in the morning. The letter D disappears from the language. First, it vanishes from conversation at breakfast, then from the road signs outside. Soon the local dentist and the neighbor's Dalmatian are missing, and even the donkey derby has been called off. So this sounds just like a fun, weird read. Next, I have The Fury by Alex Michaelides. He is the author of The Silent Patient, which I have read, and while it wasn't my favorite psychological thriller, I did think that it was very good. This one is this is a tale of murder, or maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? So it involves a reclusive ex-movie star who invites her friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on an idyllic private Greek island. Yeah, it says it has all the necessary ingredients for a press sensation: a celebrity, a private island cut off by the wind, and a murder. So I love a good psychological thriller. I really don't know much about this other than the name. So now we're getting into the horror and thriller, and this is episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. This has been on my Amazon wish list for a while. So Fade to Black is the newest hit ghost hunting reality TV show led by a husband and wife team. It features dedicated crew of ghost hunting experts. Episode 13 takes them to every ghost hunter's holy grail, the Paranormal Research Foundation. This crumbling, derelict mansion holds secrets and clues about bizarre experiments that took place there in the 1970s. It's also undoubtedly haunted, and Matt hopes to use scientific techniques and high-tech gear to prove it. I mean, I love a good haunted house story, so here's hoping that this one is good. Next, I have A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. I've had this one on my list for a while now too, and actually as a part of my degree program, there is a monthly, what's it called, like not podcast, but like a live interview in which they had this author on, and she was talking about this book, and it really sounded appealing to me. Let's see, there's a struggling playwright, and she goes to Hill House on a weekend getaway. It's a mansion in a remote village. Yeah, so it's like a haunted house story. This, I believe, came out last year, 2023. So that's those. Now I'm going to move on to the fantasy section. This next book I talked about in my books to read, new releases to read in 2024. This is Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden. And of course they put it. The one thing I hate stickers on my books. Okay. January 1918. Laura Ivan was a revered field nurse until she is wounded and discharged from the medical corps, leaving behind a brother still fighting in Flanders. Now home, she receives word of his death in combat along with his personal effects, but something doesn't make sense. Determined to uncover the truth, Laura returns to Belgium as a volunteer at a private hospital, where she soon hears whispers about haunted trenches and a strange hotelier whose wine gives soldiers the gift of oblivion. Could Freddie have escaped the battlefield only to fall prey to something or someone else? So yeah, this sounds very much like historical fiction combined with fantastical elements. So I'm excited to get to this one. I did read her other book. I can't remember the name of it. I would always do that. Anyway, I like her writing. Next I have Sanctuary of the Shadow, and I really don't know anything about this. The reason that I picked it up is because of the book itself. It was just very pretty. I'm not sure if this one is YA or not. Enter at your own risk and discover the greatest show on earth in this explosive, darkly imaginative debut fantasy. For humans, the circus is a place filled with wonder and amazement. For Harrow, though, it's a place to hide from those who slaughtered her entire clan. Disguising her abilities as part of her act has kept her true identity safe for years until he arrives. So, yeah. I don't know. Sounds good. It's a pretty book. Then I got The Lost War and The Bitter Crown. So that's book 1 and 2 in this series by Justin Lee Anderson. And this says the war is over, but peace can be hell. Demons continue to burn farmlands, violent mercenaries roam the wilds, and a plague is spreading. The country of Eden is on its knees. Yeah, I've heard people talking about this, so when I saw it, I just kind of grabbed it up. These next 2 books I own. So weird. I bought book 1 and book 3 in this series, so of course I figured it would be smart to go ahead and grab book 2, Game of All Things by Jen Lyons, and then book 4, The House of Always, so that when I do pick up the first book, I can, move on to the second one. I really don't know much about this, and this is book 2. So it says, Kieran Damon is a wanted man since he destroyed the Stone of Shackles and set demons free across Cure. He has been on the run from the wrath of an entire empire. His attempt to escape brings him into the path of Janelle Theranon, a mysterious Huartese woman who claims to know Kieran. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I haven't read book 1, so... Okay, and then this next book I also talked about in the 24 new releases to read in 2024, and that is The Book of Love by Kelly Link. How pretty is that? This one, I believe, is about students who are risen from the dead. Let me see. Yeah, late one night, Laura, Daniel, and Mo find themselves beneath the fluorescent lights of a high school classroom almost a year after disappearing from their hometown, the small seaside community of Lovesend, Massachusetts, having long been presumed dead, which, in fact, they are. And I believe that the teacher brings them back to life, but with a twist. Like they have to perform some test, and only those who finish, get to stay alive. So that's that. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, the piles. Okay, so the next book I have is Paradise 1 by David Wellington. So this is a deep space colony from Earth that goes dark. A crew is sent to investigate, and they find horrifying discovery. This is a chunky book. It is, like 700 pages. I love sci-fi in which there is, these kind of horrific, scary elements to it where the crews disappear or there's some kind of horrifying twist. I love it. So that is that. So these next 2 books are books 2 and 3 in a series by Peter F. Hamilton. And so like I said, the section in the sci-fi section in this Barnes & Noble was really tiny, and they didn't have book 1. So I actually ordered book 1. So I got the membership while I was there because of course I got so many books. I mean, it didn't make sense not to get the discount. Pay for the membership, get the discount. So you accrue points, and so the points that I accrued, I ended up buying some of the ones that were missing that they didn't have, and the book 1 is one of those books. But this is Salvation Lost and the Saints of Salvation. So this book takes place in the 23rd century Earth. They are attacked by religious extremist aliens. I mean, that sounds great. Like I've mentioned before, I love religion in my sci-fi. So I don't even know how to show you these next ones. Okay, so I've started the Expanse series last year and I really enjoyed it. I had the first 3 books in the series. They came in, a book box, little bind up thing. But I wanted to just grab the rest of the series while I was there. So I did. Again, they were missing some of the books, which I had to go ahead and order when I got home. So here, the first 2, I actually already have these books, but because they were book 2 and 3, but I had to get them because they're the collector's edition and they were just so pretty. Caliban's War. I mean, those red end pages. And then the inside. It's very pretty. Look at that. And Abaddon's Gate. I mean, yeah. There are those 2. And then I got all of these. And there are 2 missing. Book number 5, Nemesis Games. Book number 7, Persepolis Rising. Book number 8, Tiamat's Wrath. Book number 9, Leviathan Falls. And apparently there's also this book, Memories Legion, which is a complete Expanse story collection, which I didn't even realize that they had this, but it is, I guess, a bunch of short stories in this world. So all those, I really hope to get to book 2 soon, maybe even this month or next month. Okay. Next, I have Fractal Noise, which is book 2, I believe, in the Fractalverse by Christopher Paolini, which I read the first book just in January. And I gave it 3 stars. This says, in the silence of space, a beacon calls. In July 2234, the crew of the Adamir discovers the anomaly on the seemingly uninhabited planet Talos, a circular pit 50 kilometers wide, its curve not of nature but design. Now a small team must land and journey on foot across the surface to learn who built the hole and why. But they all carry the burdens of lives carved out on disparate colonies in the cruel cold of space. For some, the mission is a dream of a lifetime, for others a risk not worth taking, and for one, it is a desperate attempt to find meaning in an uncaring universe. Then the other book, hopefully it's good, let's see. And then we have The Stars Undying by Emery Robin. This is Altagracia, the princess with a silver tongue, has lost everything. After a bloody civil war, her twin sister has claimed the crown of their planet and the pearl of its prophecy, a computer that contains the immortal soul of a god. So when the interstellar empire of Thial turns its conquering eye toward home, Gracia gambles on an alliance with its powerful commander, Matthias Siren. But winning over Matthias, to say nothing of his mercurial captain Anita, proves dangerous. She finds herself torn between Matthias's ambition, Anita's unpredictable desires, and the demands of the god who whispers in her ear. That sounds really good. Almost done, you guys. The next set of books is a series by Alastair Reynolds.
I just need another.
I've been really wanting to read some of Reynolds' books for a while now, and here we have Chasm City. It's revenge on the surface of a corrupted planet overrun by a virus and a centuries-old atrocity. So this looks really, really good. So this is in the same world as Revelation Space, which I have not read, but I want to, and I don't know if it matters that I start with this series or not, but they of course did not have Revelation's base. So this is what we got. This is book 1. Then we have book 2, Century Reign. This is 300 years in the future. Earth is uninhabitable. On the far end of a wormhole, they discover a mid-20th century version of Earth. I think this sounds really, really good. Then we have Pushing Ice. This takes place in 2057. Humanity has raised exploiting the solar system to an art form, and Bella Lind and the crew of her nuclear-powered ship, the Rockhopper, are the best at what they do, pushing ice. Near the end of their current mission cycle, startling news arrives from Saturn. Janus, one of Saturn's ice moons, has inexplicably left its natural orbit and is now heading out of the solar system at high speed. And last, House of Suns. 6 million years ago, at the dawn of the starfaring era, Abigail fractured herself into 1,000 male and female clones, which she called Shatterlings. She sent them out into the galaxy to observe and document the rise and fall of countless human empires. Since then, every 200,000 years, they gather to exchange news and memories of their travels. Only there is no gathering. Someone is eliminating the Gentian line, and now 2 star-crossed Shatterlings must determine exactly who or what their enemy is before they are wiped out of existence. That sounds pretty interesting. That wraps it up. I have no idea when I will get to all these books, and I certainly need to make room on my shelves because right now my shelves are overflowing. So look forward to a shelf reorganization video as well as a probably massive book unhaul. I would love to talk about these books with you. If you have read any of these books, or if you think that I should prioritize any of these books over the others, please talk about that in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like the video if you liked it, and I would love for you to subscribe if you want to see more. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.